Under no circumstances should you throw eggshells in the trash after you've prepared a few eggs, because they are a true miracle cure. And in this video, I'll show you several different ways to use them that will completely amaze you. Because when you use eggs, in whatever form, you naturally have the shells left over. You can now simply collect these. Always set them aside, and once you have a good amount ready, you first need to do the following with them. In the first step, you should give them a rough rinse to get the last egg residues out of here. Once you've done that, grab a pot, fill it with water, and place it on the stove. Because what we want to do now is boil the eggshells in hot water for about 10 minutes. So make sure that the water starts to boil. Leave them in here for 10 minutes, and after that, you can take them out again. In between, you should give them a little stir every now and then. It's important now that you pour them through a sieve so that the liquid is separated from them, because now we only need the eggs. If there's still a small amount of liquid inside the eggshells, always pour it out and then go to your oven. Here, you should place a piece of parchment paper on a baking sheet and then line up the eggshells individually on it, just as you can see me doing here. Once you've lined up all the eggshells you have available on the baking sheet, you need to turn on the oven. Because in the next step, we want to leave them in the oven for a short while for a specific reason that I'll explain to you in a moment. But first, you have to close the oven and then turn it on to 150 degrees convection and let the whole thing run for 15 minutes. Because that way, we not only get the eggshells completely dry, but they're also really nicely sterilized in the end. And that's exactly what we need to have before we can use them. When the time is up, you should open the oven and can let them cool down a bit before we get to the next important step. Now you'll need a small blender or smoothie maker where you can throw the eggshells in. Throw them all in here and start it up. What we want to achieve is for the eggshells to be pretty much pulverized in the end. That means they've become really nice and fine, because that's also important before we can use them. If they're about as fine as you can see here with mine, then you've done everything right so far. You can now fill them into a screw top jar, so you can always set them aside, and whenever you need a small amount, you just take them out again. But what are the brilliant ways to use them now? Because there are several of them. For the first application, for example, you can pour about half a teaspoon of it into your flowers. Just put it on top of the soil of your houseplants, because every time you water them now, some of it will pass into the soil. And in the eggshell, we find incredibly good nutrients that are important for the plants and for their growth. That way you can actually save on fertilizer. But there's an even more brilliant trick you can do with it. For this, you need to pour a small amount of it into a small bowl, add a small splash of water, and some dish soap. Now you can stir everything well until it forms a paste, and this has many different uses. One would be to put a small amount of it on your dirty oven window. And once you've done that, grab a damp cloth or sponge and rub it over the surface. You'll be amazed how quickly and easily you can remove even stubborn burnt-on stains without having to scrub hard for a long time. Before I show you the final result, I'll show you that you can also use it to clean pots or pans, for example. You can even remove limescale from your shower with it in a matter of seconds. Here on the oven, you can clearly see that my window is nice and clean again, and I have a clear view through it. And that's even though I only wiped it for 2 minutes, despite the stains being heavily burnt on. And if you'd like to know why you should always put coffee in your bathroom, then watch the video you see on the screen now. Click right on it.